A very warm welcome to this session of Let Us Talk It's ZIPINAR. We try to zip in as much information we can in the 1 hour we expect you to spend with us. We have two amazing topics and two amazing speakers. And the first speaker, I must say, had so much. When the first time I was talking to him, his achievements were such that I said we could have a 1 hour webinar just talking about his achievements. And it's so varied. The fields are varied. The experiences are varied. Trust me, if you can get hold of him on the Zoom, get it. If you have joined in on YouTube, Facebook, just get out of there, come in the Zoom and talk to him, interact with him. He is a powerhouse of information, powerhouse of experience, I have to say. So with that, we welcome all of you who are joining in on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. And the first speaker, definitely I have to say something, but I pretty sure it's not enough. The topic he will be talking is logistics technologies in manufacturing 4.0. And about him, he is a logistic professional and a postgraduate in marketing with over 30 years of domain knowledge across diverse industries, and diverse as diverse can be. He is, he possesses strong ability to engage with cross-sectional stakeholders, and he is passionate to with the industry as a pathway to future-proofing job-ready, employable youth through new initiatives, CSR, and through industry linkages. And as I said, his profile is so strong that I don't want to get into and, cannot come out of it. So I'll definitely ask him to give a brief of all these, experiences and his achievements along with the topic that he has for us. So absolute honor to have you, Ramesh. Over to you.
Thank you so much, and very good afternoon to people in the US and good evening for the people in India. It's been a great pleasure to be a part of this ZIPINAR. So I'm here to just quickly give you a rundown on the logistic technologies that's in vogue in manufacturing. I head the Industry Partnerships for Logistics Sector Skill Council. And though I have a few dozen slides, I would quickly take you through what are the various technologies that is being used in the global supply chain management. And let's start with the next slide, please. Yeah, so what are the global supply chain management challenges with regards to the technology today? If you look at logistics, it is primarily three workflows. One is the information flow. The second is the finance or the cash flow. Third is the material flow. So in global supply chain management, the challenges that we face today are on the cash flow, the lead time. When I say lead time, the lag it takes from end to end, labor shortages, data management, exposure to various kinds of risks, and of course, customer service. Everybody has been demanding for quick turnaround time to have shipments delivered. And there's always been a demand volatility, especially in India with the Ukraine war. There's been a huge disruption on shipments and containerized goods flowing into India. There are quality control issues and on defects, limited transport and container capacities. And there's been a volatility in exchange rate and foreign currencies while you transact on the costs. And most importantly, the sustainability that the global supply chain has been talking about. My next slide is, next slide, please. Thank you. So with regards to manufacturing, if you look at, there are few functionalities like the sourcing or procurement, logistics and transportation, demand management, and warehousing. And if you look at the manufacturing part, you have the product research and development, production planning and control, quality management, maintenance, and diagnostics. I'll quickly go through the functionalities and then come to what the analytics do. On sourcing part, if you look at the supply chain management challenges in manufacturing 4.0, you have the supplier selection, supply partner or vendor selection, sourcing cost improvement, sourcing risk management, and sourcing. When you say risk management, of course, it involves a lot of financial, insurance, various kinds of risks management are there, and there are means and methods to mitigate these. And predominantly, if you look at the number of challenges that we have, especially on the tech part of it, it is on the logistics and transportation. Today, logistics breeds technology, and you have smart fleet mobility services, intelligent transaction systems, which helps in logistic better planning. And one can easily monitor by a press of a button the in-transit inventory management. Next, we go to the demand management, where we have the forecasting of demand, demand sensing, demand shaping, and finally to the warehousing, which includes storage assignment, order picking, inventory control. So all these are well harnessed with technology today, and it is completely data driven. Without data, the logistics cannot survive, especially on the manufacturing. So what does analytics do? Today, you have peak and lean seasons for both manufacturing and in e-commerce. There's been a lot of fluctuation and humongous numbers in terms of shipments in a large country like India, having multiple states. It runs into several hundreds of thousands transactions per day. So this thing called the analytics greatly helps in decreasing the downtime, and also helps, especially in the manufacturing side, it enhances the machine's break and failure, and also helps to maximize the operating time of the critical assets in an assembly line or production feed. Analytics also greatly helps in utilization of various resources. It brings in improvements into operational efficiencies, improves the uptime of an individual asset. And the third point, there are different kinds of optimization in logistics, and analytics helps in optimizing network complexity. Network complexity, like optimize the interaction machines and processes. Each machine talks to each other. It encompasses every step from purchasing to production to sales. It greatly helps manufacturers precisely in understanding what to buy, what to make, and how they should make it to yield the maximum or most profit. Fourthly, like I said, it is data-driven for the manufacturer. It helps to optimize the productivity of individual assets, maximize the productivity and profitability, dynamically optimize their tactical planning, and make better strategic decisions on a long term. If you look at the warehousing part on the data analytics, the data analytics helps manage warehouse and inventory far better, thus establishing efficient arrangement structures, and it's most effective on replenishment procedures. Next slide, please. Thank you. So the technologies, when you say logistics and warehouse, it is predominantly the stocks, what we call as inventory management. There are a lot of modern technology enhancement in the warehouse management system, such as radio frequency identification, light fidelity technology, which is also known as Li-Fi or Li-Fi, and it's predominantly used today in aerospace and deep sea tech. You also have the robotics technology with barcode, various kinds of coding systems, and the WMS, warehouse management system or software. So these together helps in counting or stocking. It helps the inbound in receiving. And these are all harnessed through the Wi-Fi coverages in manufacturing scenario. So the technologies for inventory management, it can segregate and classify the placement of goods in which rack, how much to stack, and greatly helps in classifying the placement of goods. Today, a lot of handheld terminals are used to determine data, data flow. And like I said, the information flow, which is the documentation or doc flow, can be easily configured. And today it has virtually become contactless, peopleless, faceless, and completely digitized and digitalized on the documentation front. So these technology for inventory management also helps in storage, allocation, and replenishment faster. Helps in barcode printing, goods picking, packing, preparing for dispatches. And without these technologies today, manufacturing becomes extremely difficult. And I've had the pleasure and privilege to work on the Harley-Davidson plant at Bawal in Delhi. There are even more sophisticated technology that are being bought. For example, the first part in the assembly line is the laser printing of the chassis and engine numbers. We in India predominantly, now it has changed. Otherwise, it was manual punching. The next slide, please. Thank you. Another biggest challenge that we have, apart from the technology, is whatever technology that one brings into logistics, you need the right skill sets or required skills in supply chain and inventory management, without which it causes tremendous amount of delays, customer dissatisfaction. So if you look at the skill sets in the supply chain and inventory management today, you need advanced analytic skills. You need to understand technologically, one needs to be pretty sound. Of course, in all the bridge course, when a person comes from even academy, be it a grad or engineering or post-graduation, he is given a bridge course on leadership management. I think my next speaker would elaborate that far better. One needs to have the skill sets on strategic planning, process improvement, organizational and logistic skills. For logistic skills, you need to be grounded and you need to dirty your hands. Sans which you can't grow, from the bottoms up. You need to have tremendous amount of problem solving. Every day there are issues, every day there are learnings, and it's all data driven. You need to be analytical. Verbal and written communication, especially to the customer side, one needs to be highly proficient. Proactive and critical thinking. What in case of failure, what are the fail-safe mechanism? And you work in a team, so you need to orchestrate yourself and ensure that your connectivity with your peers, subordinates, and superior are seamless and team-oriented. So lastly, the interpersonal skills, ability to converse both internally and externally with the customers, suppliers, various people in the factory, the warehouse, the distribution channel partners, and to the end customer, is all harnessed through technology today. with lots of metrics and measures. You have integrated RFID retail management solution, which is also known as IRRM, which is greatly used in manufacturing. Next slide, please. Thank you. So in logistics, warehouse is a place where you store all your goods, and it is you today, unlike maybe a decade ago, you find a lot of logistic analysis, extracting data, dealing with data, trying to identify optimization opportunities to reach the shipment from place A to place B at the shortest time possible, at the shortest cost possible. So for that, cloud technologies are used. A warehouse systems manager, actually you can see him play around with the software technology like robotics and sensors to automate tasks, especially the repeated task. Today you find AR visual logistics and high-speed sorting systems. Sortation is another key thing which helps in delivering the right goods at the right time to the right consumer. Packaging, people have adopted a lot of sustainable development goals in cutting down plastics and going green. So packaging experience is also automated. If you look at very high sophisticated manufacturing, they have a machine called Cube Scan. It's a kind of a tunnel that you find in airports where you put your baggage or cargo. It scans through your cargo and tells precisely what the dimension, weight, in case if there are any shortages, excess, and helps in identification or any damages in terms of packaging is all automated. And if you look at the warehouse automation, project managers play a critical role to support the implementation system. There's upgrading and optimizing various kinds of tasks. You find two-dimensional barcode guided on synchronized positioning and mapping and modeling to, cut the turnaround time. Lot of lean methodology, FIRES, Kaizen are used. There are separate teams for solution and design and engineering using AutoCAD and programming knowledge. And especially in the auto sector, where there are thousands of auto components or aftermarket parts, today it is in vogue with Internet of Things. And I've also had the opportunity to visit the Siemens Nokia plant, where they have implemented the autonomous guided vehicles, unmanned transport vehicles, and intelligent distribution system in order to reduce the fatigue of people working in the warehouse. It can move around to every nook and corner and can also handle highly hazardous goods, which are dangerous to the human. Next slide, please. If you look at the material handling equipments, sorry, it is combined with smart technology right from when it enters the warehouse or a fulfillment centers or in the manufacturing plant, forklifts, palletizers, depalletizers, container veining and deveining systems. Transportation inside and outside the warehouse are completely automated with high dynamic visibility. Automated conveyance robots with artificial intelligence, overhead trolleys, which does not hamper the movement of stocks, automated AGV, I told you. These are all in vogue today, which was never there a decade ago. What has been the logistic functionalities a few years ago is now redundant, and every day there is an upgrade of technology. You find one of the most sophisticated conveyors, belt conveyors, and sortation machines with automatic sorting machines, especially in e-commerce segment and manufacturing with high amount of components are today pretty much there. You have automatic labeling machine where the SKUs, the stock keeping units are extremely high, and it is so fast and dynamic that it puts the right kind of stickering or labeling to the right product, irrespective of the number of stock keeping units you have. Like I said, I spoke on the cube scan machines, the dimensioning, the weighing, scanning systems are in place today with digital picking. Next slide, please. Today, if you look at India as a country, there is a very interesting project I would like to just touch upon called the Honorable Prime Minister's Gati Shakti program. Gati Shakti program is connecting all the multimodal logistics, air, road, rail, and sea, where these infrastructures are getting modernized and advanced. And where you have also this Bharatmala and Sagarmala programs, where the road connectivity and the sea connectivity improvements have been happening. So these projects are high capex intensive programs, thus seamlessly connecting with unified logistic interface portals, which was never there. And if you would have seen the union budget, the government of India is spending about 1.68 lakh crore rupees for this program in logistics, which was never ever there. And it's one of the highest spend for the logistics sector, multimodal logistics sector. This would bring in phenomenal improvement in efficiency of the existing corridors, be it road, rail, air, and sea. And these development of multimodal logistic parks would eliminate choke points and chock-a-blocking of road infrastructure. And coming to Sagarmala project, it will greatly reduce logistic cost and export-import and the documentations of the trade with even very minimal infrastructure investments. We also have the inland waterways, which is being launched in another couple of weeks in a place in Assam, Dibrugarh, where it would greatly cut the cost of logistics to a fraction of the current pricing, and would also eliminate congestions of road traffic. The key issues today, almost 68% of the logistics is by road. We have not yet optimized the multimodal logistics by both sea and river. So some of the key issues that we face in road freight are terrible amount of delays, and one needs to observe a lot of regulatory compliances. Use of digital dashboard to monitor the road freight movements have just begun, and we have miles to go. And most of the logistic companies today have embraced and adapted this technology of GPS to track and trace visibility. And if you look at air freight, it is predominantly used for high value cargo, and it is all integrated, getting integrated with better infrastructure. Gateway and hinterland connectivity through railroad multimodal will be the thing of the future. Inventory, visibility, tracking, tracing, traceability, and the entire management of stocks, along with skilled manpower management, are the key challenges that we face in air cargo. So multimodal logistics is fairly designed to cut transit times, decongest and the road infrastructure especially. And it also indicates that multimodal logistics can potentially reduce the transit time by almost 50% and has tremendous potential to increase supply chain efficiencies. And not only this, if you look at the heavy, dense cargoes by rail, the freight tariffs in India are among the highest in the world, and there are means and methods to bring them down with better road connectivity, more number of rakes and rails, and we need better reliability and trackability as well by rail. The improvement of quality of operation with speed and customer orientation is also fast ramping up. And like I said, skill sets are the next thing with high technical expertise in rail. Next slide, please. If you look at the digital trends, apart from all the, rail, road, air, and sea, what is being now tested for surveillance is drones. For especially this is being tested in places like Telangana for high-rise buildings, especially for the medical and health and pharma, COVID vaccines, to for a patient to get easy access without much intervention, with all the health protocols. It boosts. These are commonly being tried out and even used in manufacturing supply chain to boost warehouse safety using artificial intelligence, speeds up the delivery process by slashing the common operational issues. I had personally seen this happening at the Amazon warehouse at Seattle. It is just wonderful. Apart from drones, today the warehousing space has more robotics, which detects packages, defects even before it is being shipped, helps by sorting through packages, and it truly doubles up the speed. There are a lot of cloud integrations, provides real-time data to specific distributed locations and to people across geographical locations. Internet of Things, I did mention more number of parts, automation components. Internet of Things is the one that manages, accelerates productivity within the supply chain for their specific processes. Autonomous tracking helps in detecting, and even in trucking, transportation apart from the warehouse. There's been great developments in using of sensors in various kinds of vehicle, be it electric or autonomous vehicle, or vehicles with drivers, to evaluate road conditions, fatigue of the drivers. Eye blinking movements can be detected, and it helps in avoiding accidents, enhances road safety, and access to alternative routes that are based on location for shipment overload inside the fleet. Predictive networks in data analytics is of a great disruption today, where it manages and accelerates productivity within the supply chain for specific processes by reading algorithms on both current and historical data sets. This happens predominantly for various weighment of shipments. Algorithms are given for 0 to 1 kg, 2 kgs to 5 kgs, where it automatically identify the products. It could be an apparel, it could be electronics, and depending upon the seasonality, predictive networks are being greatly created and helped. Last is the blockchain, is again the recent technology where it is now the government has started using blockchain even for agri producers, from procurement to payment of the farmers. And this is one sector, agri sector, which has never slept during pandemic worldwide. Blockchain gives you tremendous amount of security with nodes, tracks products life cycle, helps in ownership from delivery to store shelf by using advanced algorithms and transparencies. These are also predominantly used in all kinds of manufacturing sector today. Next, please. So e-commerce rules today's the scenario. Like I said, there are omni-channel retail, social selling through video content, multi-channel attribution, a great emphasis on community, applying customer data online, shoppable video, lot of digitized brochures, touchless, peopleless, contactless transaction that happens. So this is actually, a use of technology has been increasing pressure on e-commerce companies to provide better and more efficient services. If you look at the figures, 66% of customers are choosing e-vendor based delivery options. 63% say delivery speed, and 77% are willing to pay for faster delivery on a premium. You would have also noticed a few blogs 10 minutes delivery. But this also calls for very high risk of the person who's delivering because of road safety, because of speeding, road rage, etc. Technology has disrupted in this area of last mile delivery. Continuous strong growth of e-retail market. This has been actually creating a ripple effect from tier 1 to tier 3, 4, 5, you know, sections of cities and locations. There's a dire need to leverage new technologies to satisfy customer expectations where a customer feels need speed. So technologies such as blockchain, in-store experiences online have been on a ramp up. Next slide. Thank you. Last is the reverse logistics. What goes forward today, if you be it in US or in India, the percentage of reverse logistics customer dissatisfaction of a product has been on the rise from a single digit to almost 30% plus. For certain product, it goes up to 36%. So there are technologies available today on strategic ways to optimize reverse logistics. It helps in collaborating with suppliers. They use data to optimize processes, track products forward and backwards, centralize return centers, examine logistics and transportation, both time and cost, automate using cloud-based logistics software. Reverse logistics is a function which actually eats away the profitability in logistics. So what goes to the end consumer goes on a reverse path where it goes to a return shipping, then return is processed, movement to the disposition. In case if there are any damage or if to the products, it is recycled or refurbished for resale, and then it again comes back to the end consumer. Technologies that helps in reverse logistics are Internet of Things, network, optical character recognition, OCR, auto ID systems, QR code for QR codes, 3D barcodes, 4D barcodes with digitized printing, blockchain and smart contracts are predominantly used. Return management software. Actually, if somebody returns something, it is completely, there is a set process where the product, they check the seal, they check if the product is, the same product that was delivered. So there's a lot of software interventions on the return management and big data and predictive analytics in case during the peak season of a sale, the percentage also goes up. Next slide. Yeah, this is the most last mile delivery. If you look at it, is completely end-to-end harnessed with technology. And this is the most sought after and highly invested space in logistics after logistic parks. The affecting trends in last mile deliveries are faster fulfillment. Like I said, the customer has been demanding faster delivery. And there's been a humongous disruption of the gig economy, where several hundreds of thousand youth of all genders embrace new jobs in last mile delivery, which has been fairly gainful pathway for employment. And there's a lot of crowdsourcing applications, focus on visibility from start to finish, and it involves postal service kind of a thing. If you look at the e-commerce last mile delivery companies in India, there are leaders like Delivery, Ecom Express, and there are hundreds of startups who've been investing in this space, especially for the electric vehicle, two-wheeler, three-wheeler. Now it's moving up to larger vehicles such as trucks and buses. Helps in faster delivery, precise order tracking, I'm talking about the technology that is into the app-based thing with high security, insurance, specialization, convenience. And main challenges are at what cost, at what efficiency, what transparency, and how do we deal with the damaged goods? So if you look at how companies can solve the last mile delivery challenges are to create a robust and efficient last mile delivery solutions through technology and various sustainable vehicle uh, vehicle types today. Next slide. This is my last slide. And since we are talking about the logistics in manufacturing 4.0, the benefits of a digitized platform, a digital platform allows faster innovation. It is highly creative. It is faster time to launch, automating and abstracting cloud setup and simplifying governance process. Frequent updates are a key thing for creating an optimal development pipeline that allows customer experiments in digital service to be updated on at least a daily basis. Increase focus on business problems, more business models with better opportunities, and the technology on a digitalized platform. Let's see what are the benefiting factors that helps reduce cost. Especially on the technology brings in a lot of, it benefits all organizations on the economies of scale, easier cost management, infrastructure, and also helps in positioning security specialists in digital platform teams to reduce security threats. And key thing is, it also brings along higher quality solution with fewer environmental issues, more deterministic test results. So that's about it from me. Thank you so much for listening to me patiently, and I'm happy to take some questions.
Thank you so much, Ramesh. It feels like a cliffhanger. It feels like there's more to it of what you will be sharing with your knowledge. So thank you so much for that. We'd like to recognize questions if no one would like to ask.
Actually, I would like to, Ramesh, first of all, thank you for such an insightful presentation. I did not understand logistics the way you have made me understand today. Very basic question. You're welcome. Yeah. How has COVID, right? It's been 2 years now. How has COVID really impacted the logistics industry, if at all? Or it's, yeah.
It has got two sides to it. It is one, logistics is one such functionality, like I said earlier, like the agriculture. It is been pandemic proof, I would say. People have not stopped eating. So all the agri produces processed food that is manufactured has to come to the consumer. Without logistics, it would have not been possible for consumers to have their daily food. So there's been a tremendous amount of disruption, and it varies from, great question though, it varies from product to product. For example, on the flip side, there were also major challenges, especially during COVID. If you look at the liquid medical oxygen, which is an industrial product, where there were a lot of challenges. India did not have vaccination, and the fatalities were pretty high. And you need drivers to move the trucks to various hospitals to ensure, liquid medical oxygen. Despite these challenges, and there was a PPP, what we call it, public-private partnership. The government, the industry, the people, everybody, despite challenges, came together, and we actually helped tide over the crisis. And even if you take vaccine distribution during pandemic, it has been on multimodal. We had sent it by air, by road, by sea, by walk. So it has actually affected more positively logistics in bringing a lot of efficiencies. And the best part is people embraced technology. Everything had gone paperless, contactless, faceless, more use of machines like drones, online, softwares and hardwares, robotics, AGVs were into play so that people don't get contagious. So it was a good time for logistics and e-commerce industry. And even today, it has been a boom time. It is bound to grow and it's growing.
Fantastic. Yeah. I think every industry has figured out a mechanism or a way to deal with COVID, right? The show must go on, right? So all of us have, like you rightly said, adopted technology, embraced technology, and we worked our way out. And now I think hopefully we don't have the next two variants coming in and finally we are COVID-free nation. Let's hope for the best. Thank you so much for answering.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful question. So if there are further questions, since we're a bit short, you can type it in the chat or in the Q&A section, and then Ramesh will still be with us and we'll be able to answer those questions. All right. So let's proceed to the next topic for today, which is from campus to corporate life. It is about navigating the transition from college into the workforce. So this will be talking about differences between college life and corporate life. So this will be given to us by Shika Gupta. She's been a speaker with Let Us Talk It before regarding financial independence. If you haven't watched that, please do visit our YouTube channel to watch that one. And I'll give it to her. So she'll have more time to share what it is about from campus to corporate life. Thank you, Shika.
Sure. Thank you, Phil. And thank you, Let Us Talk It, for having me here again on this platform. So I decided to I'll touch upon very key aspects of campus to corporate bit. My talk is going to be really short and simple, and I've divided into 4 sections. First, what is the difference between college life and corporate life? Second, what role do skills play, hard skills versus soft skills? Third, what are the challenges faced by students and challenges faced by corporates? And last but not the least, what are some survival success strategies in the corporate world? So let's start with the first bit, which is difference between college life and corporate life. In my mind, there are 4 to 5 major differences. First one being lifestyle, right? It's a very different lifestyle when you're at college, a carefree mind, a very flexible schedule, right? Party, friends, right? Family and hobbies. You pursue all of that, right? That's your life at college. But then your life in corporate is very different. It requires more maturity, more sense of responsibility, more ownership, right? So those are the key differences in lifestyle. Second thing that I would highlight would be attitude, right? We have to show, at college, you can be yourself, right? Carefree, probably fooling around a little, right? Taking things easy because you're still a student, you're studying, right? And you have a lot of peer influence on you, right? But when it comes to the corporate world, right, it has to be a very different mindset to learn, mindset to grow, attitude of punctuality, attitude of responsibility, maturity. So I think attitude counts a lot. That would be the second bit. Third from my side, the third difference would be schedule, right? When you're at college, you follow very different schedule in terms of, your timetable, your classrooms, your breaks between different classrooms, right? Your extra time, your extra studies, your late night studies. That's your schedule at the college. But at corporate, right, if you're in a client facing role or whichever role you are in, right, it requires a proper schedule. Every corporate has work timings. The most common work timings in any organization is 10 to 6 or 10 to 7, so on and so forth, right? So you have to start maintaining a schedule once you join corporate, right? The next thing that comes to my mind is, time off, vacations. When you're a student, you get a lot of holidays, time off, festival off, and all of that stuff. But in corporate, right, there are designated number of leaves that you can take, designated number of holidays which are listed at public holidays. Leaves are split between sick leaves, casual leaves, earned leaves, right? So you need to plan your time off well, or you need to plan your work well, because you cannot go on a vacation whenever you want, right? The last thing that I would want to touch upon is how you plan your finances, right? While you're a student, you can spend the way you want, probably as much as you want, right? The nature is very different, right? Maturity is very different. You're a spendthrift or you're not a spendthrift, right? You don't plan your finances really well. But once you join a corporate, right, you start earning a salary, you really need to plan your finances. How would you spend that money, say, on personal development, on expenses that you incur, on anything that you would want to do? So in my mind, these are the 5 differences that, you know, anybody goes through, 5 major differences when you move from a student life to a corporate life, when you become an employee, for student versus an employee. So those are the key differences in my mind. Now let me talk about the second section, which is what role do skills play? All right. Now in a corporate environment, skills are very important. As a student, we have certain skills of, you know, say for example, communication skills, PowerPoints, and I'm talking about the soft skills right now, certain behavioral skills, right, which we use or which we learn during our college life. But once you enter the corporate world, right, there are a host or a variety of skills that you need to observe, learn, adapt both, right? Say, for example, life skills, business skills, client management skills, all those skills become extremely important. Like Ramesh highlighted in the previous session, problem solving, analytical skills, right? Crisis management skills. Soft skills play a very important role once you join the corporate world, right? And they are far more deeper in terms of, you know, how you apply them, right? How, say, for example, interpersonal skills. How do you deal with a peer? How do you deal with your bosses? How do you deal with your clients, right? So interpersonal skills with the set of people that you're interacting vary, right? Business skills, life skills, everything that you do in corporate varies depending on your job profile, depending on the role that you're playing, depending on what geography you're interacting with. Say you're working with India customers. It's very different when you work with UK customers or US customers. Cross-cultural skills, right? How to be sensitive across different geographies. So there are these horde of skills that you have to acquire, right? And I mean, they don't come to you naturally. Some are learned on the job, right? Some you acquire through observation, through peer feedback, through mentoring, through coaching, right? Every organization, most of the organizations, if not every, give you assign you a buddy, right? This buddy helps you navigate, right? So that's the role of soft skills. When I say hard skills, I am referring to your technical knowledge, your domain knowledge, your subject matter expertise. A lot needs to be worked upon, guys, because corporate life is very different from what we study in our BTechs and MBAs and PhDs and whatnot. That is the knowledge that you acquire through textbooks, through internet. But corporate life is very different. You are actually dealing with live situations, right? It's a live client, it's a live project. So the stronger your subject matter expertise is, right, the stronger domain knowledge you have, the stronger technical knowledge you have, you are better positioned to perform your job, right? That's the role that hard skills play, and I'm calling them hard, yeah, but then these are technical or domain skills. So it is very important to have subject matter expertise, and that is how you get respect in the corporate world, because they know that you are the subject matter expert, you know it, you know the length, breadth, and depth of the topic. Whatever you're specializing in, you could be HR, you could be logistics, you could be IT, anything, whatever domain you are studying, whatever is your field of study, please make sure that your domain knowledge is your powerhouse. That's your power, right? So that's a little bit about hard skills versus soft skills. Now the next part, which is the most interesting part of this conversation, what are the challenges that students face when they move to corporate, and what are the challenges which corporates face, right, when they hire freshers? So let's talk about the students first. Now, this is my first job. I have never worked before. I was a student, I was studying. So there are multiple things that I am, as an individual, trying to adapt to, right? The job profile, the location, the team that I'm a part of, my new manager, right? How that relationship is going on, the culture of the organization, which plays a very big role in a person settling down, right? First 6 months are whether you make it or you break it, right? So various things, your job profile, your team, your peers, your manager, the organization culture, all these factors play a major role in you settling down in any organization, right? And these are the challenges that each one of us have gone through when we started, 10, 15 years back, whenever we started our careers. Am I a good fit in this place? Am I liking the profile that I'm paying? Am I gelling? Am I a team player? Am I gelling well with my peers, with my buddies, with cross project teams? Another thing that, a student is not used to is, long working hours, because like I mentioned a little while back, that college has very flexible schedule, right? You have more flexibility to do things at your own will. But corporate life is not like that. You have slated working hours. And if you're handling multinational or international clients, right, you have to pitch in evening hours on conference calls. So long working hours, a different schedule also becomes a challenge. Performance pressure, KPIs, key performance indicators, and KRAs, key result areas. These are terminologies which you were hearing while you were studying, but now you own these KPIs and KRAs, and you have to perform. You have to deliver quarter on quarter, right? So that's a new concept for any fresher, any student when he moves from campus to corporate. Like another thing that I highlighted was your manager. What are his expectations? Are you meeting them? Are you exceeding them? What is the gap? Is there a dialogue between the two of you, right? So managing your supervisor's expectation is also one of the things that needs to be taken care of. And last but not the least would be, work-life balance. You were used to a very different lifestyle when you were a student. Now your life is completely changed because it's your first job. You're trying to adjust to a lot of things. How do you strike a balance between your personal life versus your job, or whatever you do beyond your work? How do you strike a work-life balance? So that's another thing that needs to be thought through. I mean, it's very a proud moment. It's a very happy thing, or a very proud moment to bag an offer, to get a placement at campus, to start the first job. But adapting and adopting to the team, the organization culture, your job role, your KPIs, KRAs, right? Lifestyle changes, supervisor expectations are big things, right? So that's what I have seen during my experience, industry experience. These are the challenges which freshers go through, and they have to navigate through these. Now, coming to the challenges that an organization faces, right? What happens when you hire freshers, right? You go to the campus, you interview them, you talk to them, you understand them, you do a test, you do group discussions, you do interviews, you hire. Finally, they're on board. Now, are they liking the job profile? Retention becomes a big challenge. Are they liking the job profile? How do you engage them, right? How are you establishing that connect, right? How is the employee feeling connected to the organization, or this fresher feeling connected to the organization? Are your expectations from the freshers realistic, right? The job role, the KPIs of that particular role, are they realistic? So that's another challenge, corporates face at times. So retention, engagement, and likability towards the job profile, making the job interesting, right, are the three major challenges that you see corporates facing. Beyond that, yes, employee engagement now during COVID has also become a challenge. Everything seems to be happening. Everything is happening online, right? Those cafeteria events, those in-person events have all kind of come to an end because everybody is working from home. So making sure that the person is connected to the organization is one of the biggest challenge corporates are facing. Now, this brings me to the last section of my talk, which is what are some of these success strategies, right, for these kids who start their first job? In my mind, I would advise top 5 things that you should be aware of. Number one is that you have to, as an individual, define your career goals, right? What is it that you want to achieve? This is your field of study. You have backed an offer, you have joined the corporate, right? But then what is your career goal? Ultimately, where is it leading to? Are you in the right profile? Define your career goals, which trajectory you want to follow, which career path, what do you want to become? What do you want to become 3 years down the line? What do you want to become 5 years down the line? Defining a career path, you can do it. You have mentors, you have coaches in the industry who can help you. In certain cases, parents are very helpful in defining that. So define a career goal, define your career path as to what you want to do. Second thing that I would advise campus folks is how to embrace discomfort, right? Say you were used to a different lifestyle, your schedule was different, right? You were a student. Now you have graduated, or you've got promoted, you've become a corporate person, you've joined an organization. So there are things that will be outside your comfort zone. Say, for example, you're missing out on some sleep, you're missing out on some parties because of work commitments. Embrace discomfort. That's the only way to excel. Some people are, right from their first job, they start looking for the work-life balance thing. But the people who finally succeed are the ones who are able to embrace that discomfort, make certain adjustments, and make work priority, right? The organization is banking on you. You've been hired for a particular role. You're supposed to be delivering against your KRAs, KPIs. So if your college lifestyle is becoming an impediment in that, or your previous lifestyle is becoming an impediment in that, I think that's something that every campus hire needs to work on. So you have to embrace discomfort, stick to your loyalty commitments towards work. The next thing that I would want to touch upon would be after discomfort, right? Like I spoke about attitude and respect at all times, right? It's your first job. You have to be more of a learner, of an observer, right? And always give and take respect from anyone and everyone who you meet in your circle of influence, in your organization, right? There are certain things that could cause a little bit of discomfort. You may not like it. Take it as a part of your learning, but do not disrespect, do not show bad attitude, do not close your mind towards things which you're not liking, right? It's your first job. You have to learn, observe, right? And then move on ahead in life. The next thing would be, it is very important to develop, right, work ethics. Who am I as a person? What is my integrity? What are my work ethics, right? How do people know me, right? Am I known as somebody who's very ethical in all my transactions, all my interactions? Or am I somebody, I'm trustworthy, people can rely on me? Or am I somebody who takes things very very lightly, who's not serious, who doesn't have any discipline, any routine, any punctuality, any sort of work ethics, please start developing your work ethics. That's the most important point. That's the best success strategy. Define yourself, define your work ethics, start defining your brand, who you are, what you can deliver, what are you capable of. Another thing that I would really like to highlight is, yes, college life was different, corporate life is different. Corporate life does come with some amount of stress, right? So managing stress, mental health is very, very important, right? Do things that, bring your stress down, or you can manage your stress levels. Take out some me time, do things that you enjoy, so that for the next day or the next morning you're fresh and you're ready to live another day. Managing stress is very important. And when I say stress, it could be, it would be work stress, it could be from the client side, it could be some peer level stress, it could be from your supervisor stress. You need to manage all of that. Managing stress is very necessary. It's important for your personal wellness, it is important for your mental health. So, and last but not the least, I did touch upon finance, right? Managing your finances, right, is again extremely important, right? So success strategies, your attitude, your career goals, your lifestyle, your work ethics, your the way you manage your finances, right? All these attribute to your success strategies. I mean, if you can win over those, right? And there are multiple ways to kind of win, learn, observe. Like I said, there are coaches, there are industry experts who can help you navigate through this, right? But then my advice to any campus hire would be, just have an open mind, right? And have a very positive attitude towards everybody, towards life, towards work. Things become much easier, right? Because you're seeing everything with an open mind, right? You're open to learning, open to feedback, open to change, right? These are the kind of people who succeed or who excel in their lives, right? And this is a very, very kind of constant kind of an advice that I've been giving to all my campus hires wherever I have done campus hiring. It is important to keep these points in mind. Yes, it's very easy to get derailed. It's very easy to get lured by things which are not meant to be. But then, yes, having a disciplined lifestyle, strong work ethics, commitment towards work, and the right attitude is the way to succeed. Yeah. Phil, these were some quick points from my side for campus hires. I would be happy to take questions if any. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. Such very timely, because there has been like with pandemic, everyone was like homeschooled in some sort. So when
Right.
they go out in the field, so it's something that they need to catch up on. Like they will have because that's also the first mistake that I have had when I first landed my job, like the financial thing, like the embracing the discomfort. Like I always like say like it's something disturbing my sleep, my sleeping routine, body clock, something like that. So
Right.
all of those.
Phil, that's what I keep telling these kids. When I started my career 17, 18 years back, we did not have anybody to give that kind of guidance, right? You guys are very lucky. There's a plethora of information available on the internet. Plus, there are there are life coaches, there are industry coaches, there are different kind of people who can buddy you, who can help you navigate, who can advise, who can, uh, prepare you for a better corporate life, right? Who can prepare you to face the corporate life better. So today's generation is far luckier than me and probably a lot of others. Yes.
Yeah, well, I would
Can I?
like just to, yes, go ahead, Ramesh.
Yeah, thank you. I think beautifully explained, and it was really, great and amazing insight. In line with your thoughts, in fact, we are into skilling scores of people across India in logistics sector, where we are the first in the country to have launched and formalized logistic education in schools, UGC colleges, engineering, polytechnic, ITIs, with both hard and soft skills. The issue that we face today in India is, as Shikha rightly signed off in stating, attitude is the key, because we have three factors: ASK, attitude, skills, and then knowledge. Yeah. And what we find today is the attitude of the youth, where they want quick, instant gratification, lack loyalty. Okay, and in fact, you've also been reading reports in media and print that the next 2-3 years is going to be the great year of resignation and migration. That being the case, despite people, there are counselors. I think more needs to come in to give directions to the youth in taking the right steps to be loyal to their jobs, embrace discomfort, and stick on to a job for longevity in a job. Yes. Because if you look at logistics per se, the bottom of the pyramid lies the critical mass of unorganized gray and blue collar workforce, straight in from school, colleges, various academia, taking up their new employments. They do follow KPI, KRAs. What they don't follow is SOPs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so the corporates, they define standard operating processes, which guys of today, it takes time for them to understand. And as you rightly said, cultural shifts, the mindsets are still lying the way they were in the college. So it is taking longer time for the youth to embrace these things, the cultural fitment, etiquettes, discipline. So this is something that I thought I would add to what you said, Shikha. It was great and very insightful. Thank you.
Beautifully said, Ramesh. And that's where we get killed, right? Attitude. Quick money, quick power, quick success, right? You look at a fresher's resume, or somebody say with 5 years experience, there are already 4 companies on the resume, right? Longevity, stickiness, stability, yes, all those things are missing. Thank you for adding that great input to the discussion. Yeah.
Pleasure is mine. And we've been dealing with all the Swiggies and Zomatos of the world. Yeah. Here today, gone tomorrow is the kind of, it's in vogue. Guys, they hardly stick on for even 3 days, 4 days after joining a new job. That is quite shocking for us to reskill, upskill, and multi-skill them. Thank you.
Correct. And this whole, just another thought, this whole gig economy concept, right? You can work for hours, you can work on projects, you can work on interventions. You really don't need a perm job, right? You can make money whichever way, right? So the Swiggies and Zomatos are a classic example of the gig economy, right? And they're happy. They're making their money and they're happy this way, correct? Sure. Phil, over to you. Yeah. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's really wonderful session. Anyone would like to add or like ask questions, add their thoughts? Yeah, please feel free to do so or unmute your mic.
Thank you, Shikha. That was an excellent presentation. I was walking through my life from campus placement to, till date, whatever mistakes I made with respect to finances and early investment, too much of investment, later on realizing this is too much has been invested. There is no money to, enjoy life. So yes, it was a panoramic view going inside my head. Yeah, and I really enjoyed it. And thank you, Ramesh sir. Thank you for giving such an elaborative presentation on the entire supply chain logistics. I had one question, Ramesh sir, that is with respect to blockchain. How is the future in supply chain in India? compared to the rest of the world?
Great question. See, today, I mean, like we use the word gig force and all that. What is like a few years back, we are still in VUCA world where there is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. With regards to blockchain, this brings in a lot of transparency, helps in distributing documents, distributing ledgers, bring in authenticity, security to the metaverse world where everything is digitized, harnessed either through laptop, apps, etc. So, in terms of data security and safety and security, I think blockchain is the way forward because there are very large organizations like Adani, Reliance, where they are investing several thousands of crores setting up data centers. Why should India go to US or Europe or other country? Why can't we ensure that the data are safeguarded, secured, and stored in the country? So blockchain is the way forward. And this, I had seen it in US, Amazon for the first time, how and what they operate. Similarly, I had the opportunity to see it. Blockchain was used for fishing. Once after the fishing through blockchain technology, whether the fish, how many fish, what dimension, what weight, and what lat long has it been caught outside the border or within the border of Thailand, Indonesia. These are the technology which was never there, be it a truck driver or a trawler, going for fishing. Today, these technologies are blockchain. Look at cryptocurrencies, Ethereum, and these are all technologies which completely beats the conventional system in safeguarding the data security of all operations, be it banking, logistics, retail, tourism, hospitality. It is sector agnostic, and it is the way forward. Both blockchain, data analytics, everything is driven by data, and data needs security. I did touch upon a small thing called DeFi, okay, light fidelity.
Yes.
These are systems which are also getting entwined to blockchain. As long as there is light, the data is secured, and it cannot penetrate without light. So these are the kind of technologies, NFCs, near frequency communication, like Bluetooth, and various things. If you get into a retail store, you find the gantries in the entry and exit to ensure that there are no pilferage. These are all near frequency communication, which are also blockchain with measures in metrics to safeguard data. And this is the way forward. It is very, very widely used in today across industry, health, pharma, you name the sector, it has been there. I trust I answered your question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But when a new technology comes in, there is a lot of resistance to it, and it's not easily acceptable because in supply chain there is a lot of silo areas which normal fleet owners or any transporters, logistics takes advantage of. So it's not easy to implement or execute blockchain. And this is my view because I had a short stint in supply chain. So just asking this question.
See, the thing is, if you look at, great question though. If you look at, say, half a decade ago, investment into technology was a big question mark, be it for banking, retail, insurance, logistics, or any industry. But if you look at today, without technology, you're left back. I mean, if you do not embrace technology, if you do not embrace innovation, creativity with technology, you cannot survive. You cannot. Everything
Right.
is, that is the reason I use the word metaverse. We are completely networked through apps. Our
Yes, sir.
human interventions are actually far decreasing with so much of robotics, so much of automation, sortation. What a man can do, machines are doing. Am I right?
True, sir. Right, sir.
And if you look at China, China is the manufacturing capital of the world. All the repetitive jobs have been replaced by machines.
Right.
And it is again harnessed through IoT, blockchain, AI, VR, and all kinds of technologies. People need speed. They want to reduce cost and time in whatever they do. And hence, the investment has already taken into a tech tangent.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you for the time. Thank you, Shika ma'am, for the time.
Thank you so much, Manoj. I am glad I was able to take you down the memory lane. I hope
Yes.
it was a good experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, Shika. That was a very good session, so useful. And thank you, Ramesh. You have so much of seasoned expertise in the whole supply chain. I think we probably will talk to you offline if you can review some of our active supply chain projects and provide your feedback. So sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Srini, for giving me this opportunity. Pleasure being here again.
Yes, and I like the quote that you put it on LinkedIn. It's a candle doesn't lose anything by lighting another candle. Like spreading the light of knowledge. It is so powerful. Thank you.
I think the credit should go to my father because he's been doing that all his life, right? Coaching, mentoring students. So yeah, I picked it up from him, and I try to. He's my role model, so I try to be like him. Yeah.
Wow. So nice.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much. Bye-bye.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ramesh. And thank you, Shika. Thank you, speakers. We hate to end this webinar, but yeah, we have to. So we're trying to squeeze in the two very very great knowledge. And then it's a drill. You have to attend again next Wednesday, the same time, to learn it more. And we expect you to be there. And also, we have our youth sessions. Please do support our youth generations as well. So please do visit our website to pre-register. That's letustalkit.com/youth. So thank you so much for spending the time and for extending speakers and all the viewers, and also for the participants via Zoom. We wish you all the best and take care as always. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.